Chaos Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. They hate when I do this, but I'm going to keep doing it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, because I love doing it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, like a mother smack at it. Bye. Orderly, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, Brothers by Pinchy Choice. Do you have a choice? Guard! Do they have a choice? I don't know if they have a choice, but they call themselves Brothers by Choice. An SNY gang. Another one and another one. Now, we always hear about these gangs that have went a different route, or these groups, disruptive groups, whatever you want to call them. And in Menudo style, in direct fashion, we're going to get straight to it. And you predominantly hear about, of course, the rioters and the fivers. And I don't like to give anyone no clout or anyone no, like these guys are doing big things, because I'm not in their mix like that. I don't want to wolf on them. Spence, I'm losing my voice. I don't want to wolf on them, or I don't want to take anything away from what they're contributing to whatever their cause they believe in. But at the same time, I will say this. There's others that are out there. There's other groups. And this group that I'm about to talk about, man, is a group called Brothers by Choice. And they're actually Woods. Sprinkle them in, brother. Who at one point in time have defected for whatever reason may be, whether it was a removal, a bad call, a great call, just a good call, or whatever the case may be. They actually find themselves in them SNY yards, or on the other side, right? What is considered the other side of general population. Not in great standings with their group or their people. Now, these white guys have come together, and a lot of them are NLR dropouts, or, just Woods of a high-ranking nature that decided they weren't ready to give up the ghost. They weren't ready to let it go, to say it with the chest like Wes, right? They're definitely still with their program. Now, they have come together and they have formed a group called BBC, the Brothers by Choice. Or, we all know what BBC means. But they come together as a group to basically hold it down. Now, I don't understand why these groups do this. I think I'm of the belief, once you let the shit go, man, once you've stepped away, just step away. If you can't handle the majors, why go back to the minors? If you can't program and function under the guidelines, the rules and regulations and politics of your people, then you got to let it go. It's no longer for you, this gangbanging mentality that people have. If the gang doesn't want you anymore, if you're not an asset and you're nothing but a liability and you've been let go of, then you need to it's like they're hanging on a cliff. Hey, don't let me go. They're stepping on your pinchy hands. Let's go already. Wow, just let it go, man. Drift off into the clouds, drifting on that memory. You'll always have your memories. You'll always have that work you put in. You'll always have your clout in your own mind, but you're no longer wanted. You're considered trash, basura, garbage. See you later, hasta la bye-bye, hasta la pipi, whatever it was, verga. See you later. Now the Woods, they don't play either, okay? I don't speak too much upon the Woods business, because I don't know a lot about their business. I was not, and not only that, man, they play different ways. Okay, and I just don't want to be affiliated with those type of individuals that speak on them all the time and get their homeboys caught up in a bind. It seems like, they got ongoing investigations, things of that nature, and people use, these YouTube channels and things that are said to fuel that fire, to help out Enrico's. I've seen it happen on several occasions, and I just don't want to be a part of that. So I try to keep the Woods business off the streets. Now, one thing I will say, as having done an extensive amount of time on the other side of the yard from them, and having known a lot of Woods and affiliated with them on the streets, I will say that they're about their business. Okay, did I see this one coming, the Brothers by Choice? No, I never seen it coming. But just like any other group, whether it be North, South, brown men, black men, you're always going to have people that still want to gangbang. They still have that mentality. They have that vice, that viciousness. They want to go, let it be known that they're a group. They're coming together not only for power, but they're coming together for self-preservation and protection. Now, I don't know how it is on the SNY yards as far as needing protection from who and what. I can't call it like an alcoholic. If you need protection from chihuahuas and weirdos, then that's on you. If you feel that it's that serious, then I guess it's that serious. Eddie Murphy delirious. Banana in the tailpipe, right? But one thing I do know is they did form a group called BBC. Now, I got at one of my homeboys who did an extensive amount of time with these people, and he said they're pretty cool dudes. They kind of mind their own, but they're down for whatever. They affiliate and they function amongst themselves. They still display certain tattoos, but a lot of them get stars tattooed all over them. To what degree of star, I can't call it. I don't know why they've went this route, but this is kind of their symbol to separate them from just a regular white guy. Now, the white guys having dropout groups or dropout gangs, to me it seems, I don't know why they would do this. I don't know why any of the groups do it. I don't get it. It's hard for me to get it, but I do know that they had started in a Southern California prison, in an SNY, and they started to accumulate homeboys. And it started out as, just like I said, high-ranking white guys that defected or rather were removed. They came together and they just started calling themselves brothers by choice, meaning that they're brothers by choice. No one else is making them do this. They're doing it out of free will because they want to do it. Now, they have been known to get into it with, of course, the 2-5ers. They have been known to get into it with the independent writers and several other people. One thing I will say is they don't play, that white power role or that hatred, or they don't do that. That's not them. They're just a whole bunch of white boys, basically comprised of old school woods, youngsters that come together, man, find themselves on the wrong side of the tracks and stick together. Do they play the racial card? I'm sure some still do. There's some individuals that are true believers in their heart of that. It's very unfortunate, as a person, as people, we all need to come together, man, and recognize each other's culture and recognize each other's get down. Not hate. Hate's a strong word, and it's a word that none of us should have in our vocabulary, and it's a word that none of us should have, on our plato, on our plate, on our agenda, because that word breeds a lot of envy, a lot of animosity, and a lot of fucking confusion, and also a lot of fucking trouble. Period. You find yourself in trouble because of the word hate. It's just not a word that we should dwell on. So those that do push the hate agenda, I don't think this Brothers by Choice group is doing that. Now, I have known that they have affiliated themselves with Northern Writers at one point in time, clicked up, and were basically going against each other. But like I said, every yard is different. In CDC, every yard's going to be different, man. Even on general population, they're going to be doing it one way, and then the next yard's going to be doing it in another way. Southern California yards do it a certain way. Northern California yards do it a certain way. That's just what it is. Now, everything's supposed to be parallel, branching, union, and basically the same. And for the most part, it is. But there's always going to be different things happening on the yards because there's different people that are on those yards. Okay? Now, on those SNY yards, where you have different groups and gangs that have sprung up through the ashes, I don't know how these guys feel, what their goal they're trying to accomplish, but they make it a dangerous place for anybody, because when gangs start to form, even if they form out of oppression, even if they form out of a necessity or a need to protect themselves, eventually they become an aggressive group. That's just how it is. That's the cycle of life. That's the type of human beings we are. At first, hey, Holmes, I don't want no problems. It's just me. Then you get a couple more homeboys, and then people start to get brave. You ever been in a situation? I was in a situation in the youth authority where everything was good. It was all lovely. Everybody was doing their program. For at this exact point in time, man, everybody was functioning and just living. Orale, right? Guard, let's groove tonight. We're just getting our groove on. And then, of course, they started to bring a lot of Africano brothers, right? Now, there was always, and quite contrary to what people think, that the Southsiders are always the deepest, believe it or not, the Africano brothers are the deepest. They're the deepest on most prison yards. They're the deepest in most CYA facilities at that time. And the only difference with them and the Mexicanos was Mexicanos kind of stuck together, whether it be north or south. And the Africanos had different groups on Paros. Then you had the Cripas, and of course Hoovers, and then you had just different groups. So they were fragmented into different sections. Yes, if it became a racial thing, they would rock together for the most part. But a lot of the times it even became a racial thing. Certain groups would be like, hey, that's them that are acting the fool. Let them get involved in it. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it was. Okay, I'm not sugarcoating or adding preservatives to nothing. That's just what it was from someone who lived it. I'm telling you, period. Point blank. Now, at this particular time, the Africanos started to get a little bit deeper, a little bit more boisterous, and they were throwing their chests around. They were saying it with their chests a little bit, right? They were letting it be known that the takeover was happening slowly but surely. Now, of course, the Southsiders had a TV in the day room. And the Africanos had a TV in the day room. And everyone else, we just watched whatever was fucking on. Spence on that thing. It's just the way it was, right? Now, we didn't consider it a Southsider TV. We considered it a Mexicano TV. So for the most part, it would be Spanish speaking. Esmeralda. That was one of our favorite novelas. Or we'd put on movies on movie night. Whatever the case may be. No one touched that TV unless you were from north or south. Period. That's just the way it was. And then, of course, you had the Africano TV, and just likewise, Holmes, they garnered their same amount of respect. No one touched their TV. It stood on Soul Train. Woo! Hippest train in America, right? I used to be watching Bobby Brown. He'd be on that motherfucker dropping yayo all over the place, right? Or I'd be watching motherfucking Jody Watley. I'm looking for a new love. I remember when she came out, I was like, damn, look at that Africano with the long hair. I like to pull that shit, right? Sauce. Anyways, that's how the TVs were. Well, when the brothers started to get a little bit deeper on their compa, of course, what happens? Again, once people start to get deeper, they start to oppress other people or challenge the authority of other people and disrespect other people. One day, a Southsider from the Avs, he comes out and he's like, hey, Holmes, why is our TV on Soul Train? Now, that was no big deal. It's not a big issue to regular people like me and you, to civilians that are out here on the streets. But in jail and in prison and in the CYA, it's a very major big deal. Okay, it's big. You don't touch other people's property. You don't touch other people's TVs. You don't sit on their side of the day room. You don't fucking touch their bars. You don't touch their weights. You keep your hands to your pinchy self for they get cut off. Right? So this guy says, hey, why is our TV on Soul Train? And the vault says, hey, man, everybody's enjoying it. It's good. He says, nah, bro, this is our TV. You guys don't touch our TV. And he put it on a novella. And the brother was like, man, why you guys got to do that? Why you guys got to trip, man? Do you hate the brothers that much? He was like, hey, it's not that we hate the brothers. There's rules. I ain't never going to touch your TV. Don't touch mine. Right? He goes, it's not about a black and brown thing, man. It can become that, but it's not that. It's more of respect other people's get down. We fought and accomplished that and set a foundation here for that TV, Holmes. We're going to have that. It's called social status of equality. You got yours, we're going to get ours. Of course, man, it turned into a bigger issue. And I remember that day we were on the yard, the Norteños. There was only 7 of us. We're smoking a little micha, smoking a little Camel. How we got it, I can't tell you. But we had a little Camel. It was a little stinky, but it was good. It flowed, right? And this big-ass Vato that was actually kind of like the llavero running that compa. He was from Calexico. I remember he had it blasted on his chest real big. He comes walking up on us, man. I told the homeboys, get ready. Because no one really came up on us like that. It would usually be from a distance. Can I get at you? But he came walking up into the circle of trust. I said, when you come walking up we're going to start playing Game of Thrones. Khaleesi, get the dragons ready, right? So the homeboys are getting their little shit ready. Like, damn, what's going on here? Are we getting approached? And he got at us and he was like, man, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the brothers are getting a little bit deeper. They're starting to push up on people. They're starting to act a certain way. And it's because they're getting deeper, man. Do you rock with us as brown men or are you going to do your own thing? And we chose that day to rock with them as brown men. Now, of course, man, when the brothers seen this, the uniting of the North and South, and it became a racial thing, and it was totally unfortunate I had to go that route because I have friends from every side, right? It never materialized, meaning it never happened. The shot caller from the blacks, he was a big old Crip from Shotgun Crip named Monster. He came and got at the Southsider, and they killed that issue, and he told his people don't touch their TV, and everything, boop, 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 boop. It worked out. Okay, I tell that story to say this. That's what happens when people start grouping up and getting deeper. They start to get a little bit braver. And that's what happened with this group, Brothers by Choice, on these SNY yards, is as they started to accumulate more white men that started to join their group, they started to get a little bit braver and push up on people. Now, I don't know their agenda. And I'm not going to speak on them as far as what they're doing on them SNY yards. But again, these are SNY yards. These are free-range yards that are very dangerous, but at the same time, man, you get no clout or no admiration for doing this. You get no acolytes. You get no awards. So you don't get a participation trophy, nada, right? But it is definitely a group that is out there that is dangerous, just like any other group. Now, to what degree of danger? The highest degree, because they're not mandated. There's no rules and regulations to what they do rather than the ones that they have and they put on themselves. Now, I have a homeboy that did an extensive amount of time with these guys and said that for the most part, they're all pretty cool. They're just kind of like a group that sticks together for protection. They're not pushing up on anyone unless they have to. But every place is different. He wasn't everywhere, so he didn't know. But he said they're definitely a group that the white boys do join. And he thought it was funny because a lot of them had dope fiend characteristics or dope fiend tactics, meaning they were just on the yard trying to come up, trying to get them one, put a little something in the spoon, right? But he said there are dudes that still do play that super duper active role. White guys are right here. This is our little area. And that's that. And he took it, he kind of laughed it off because he was like, what are these guys? There's only 4 or 5 of them on the yard. What do they expect to do? But hey, man, 4 or 5 people can be dangerous. One person can be dangerous. Never underestimate the other guy's greed. You just don't underestimate anybody. or overestimate him. Someone you could think is super hardcore, and he could be a poop butt in disguise. Poop butt in disguise. Bust down, tortillana, bust down. He could be busting down with the celly on the tortillana shit. You don't even know it. You know what I mean? You can't judge any character just by a book or just by the cover of their book. Anyways, so the BBCs, they were founded down south, Southern California, did gravitate to northern prisons. And they're probably going to be mixed in with all this mixing and matching they got going on with GP. And where do the white guys fall in? That's what I've always wondered. We always speak about North, South, and the Bulldogs. And righteously so, being a Mexicano channel, being a brown channel, man, for the raza, by the raza, for the people, by the people. I'm kind of bringing the hood politics, not the politics, but the hood news to a theater near you right here. But at the same time, man, where do the blacks and whites fall into this? For a brother to be on an SNY yard or a brother to be on the other side, man, something had to really drastically happen there. He done told on everybody, or he just gave up the ghost and said, man, he don't want no part of exactly what they got going on. I understand that. It's just, with the way that their rules go, it would trip me out to see a brother over there on the SNY yard. Now, to see the whites, I understand that their group, man, be handling their business. So you can see there being a mass amount of them over there, vatos that, are not with the hate shit on the streets and don't really want to participate, or those that were at one point in time with it, and they get mixed and mingled up over there, and come together and, formulate groups like Brothers by Choice. Where do they go? With all this integration and shit that's happening, how do they play into this? Are they going to be considered bad too? Are they going to be considered basura still? Are they going to be able to blend in? I think all these tattoos that they're getting, these stars, are going to throw people off. People are going to automatically assume who they are and get off on them. But there's a group that's starting to make noise as far as they got my attention. They got my attention because, my boy got out. I started to get at him like, hey, what's up? Hey, what are certain groups? I do my little channel. I kind of just wanted a little bit of game. And he told me about, of course, the Zapatistas and the traditional groups that have been around and who to play with, who not to play with. And then he mentioned Brothers by Choice. He said, like I said, they're just a white group that have come together for power. But they're not really making any noise, but they're down. You can't take none away from the white man. Sprinkle them woods in, brother, man. I've been around some hardcore woods, some hardcore white men that are with that. They're with the activities, okay? A lot of people sleep on the white boys. They think that the whites ain't really down. In YA, there wasn't very many of them, so I never had a chance to really see how they get down. I did run into some, and like I said, man, the ones that were there, were functioning and doing their thing, were about their fucking business, right? But there wasn't a lot of them. It was more of North-South issues, black and brown. Now, as I got older, I started to go into prison, general population yards. Like I said, the whites function on the same side of the yard with the Southsiders. So there was really no conversations there other than a buenos dias or a good morning, sir, or something like that. A lot of them would be kitchen workers. You'd see them, hey, what's up, bro? And that's it. You kept it cordial. You kept it respectful. You kept it moving, okay? Because everybody knew they were an enemy. They were someone not to be trusted. They were someone that had this burning desire to get off on you. And they played their part to the T, and we were going to play ours. And we weren't playing. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Anyway, so this is a new group, or not even a new group. They've been around, I guess, for a while, but it's something to look at, man. An SNY group called Brothers by Choice. Now, of course, there might be people that get in, oh, they're not an SNY group. This is confirmed. Stamp it. They started on an SNY yard. And like I said, they're white guys that are NLR dropouts or just young white kids, man. They like a lot of them young white kids that come in there, man, that are down to do pegadas, down to do whatever. And they get stars and shit tattooed all over them. And it is what it is. Anyways, with that being said, gente, just another group, man. Another group doing what they does, man. Nothing ever stops. Nothing ever changes, man. When we could all just get along, probably never, man. But we're going to keep trying and struggling. The game is real. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get every fucking single thing that you want coming to you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't go out there and get it, then you're considered lazy and you'll never have it. I hate the people that are hating on the next man because they're all up in his pocketbooks trying to see what he has. You can have that too, Este. Find your lane and go cruising. Cruise with you. Not groove with you, cruise with you. You know what I mean? People want to cruise with you when you're out there doing the right thing. When you're doing the wrong things, they're jumping out the car because my old lady, God, my lady said, right? They ain't trying to do that. Anyways, if you like this, thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears this. I said it. Raiders crown. And we're going to continue to struggle and strive for what we truly believe in right here on Gunners Collective. And that's the coming together of all people, man. I say that to say this. It's all love, gente. The gun with respect. Bang, bang.